and welcome to another episode of Outspoken with Eden Harvz, where we talk everything. We get juicy and there's no judgment here. You can find this podcast on YouTube, Spotify and Apple Podcasts every Friday at 7 p.m. We are joined today by TOWIE'S very own Chloe Brockett! Now, let me start off by saying I fucking adore you.
I love you.
I absolutely love you. So let's talk about when we first met.
Okay.
Well, not met, but like spoke.
So how we first spoke, I was like a secret watcher of TikTok.
Yeah.
So I'd like watch everyone on TikTok and like feel like I really knew everyone. But I feel like my username was like username 2345677.
A troll.
So I was a weirdo basically, like just watching in the background, and I felt like I really knew everyone. And I think I just messaged you on Instagram and was like, I love your content.
You messaged me on Instagram, and I was at the school pickup with Freya in the car, and I was like, oh, I've got a blue ticks message me. I was like, Freya, look, who's this? And she was like, stop it, Eden, pass me your phone. She was like, that's Chloe Brockett. I love her. You have to reply. You didn't know, what can we say? And like, she was so like calculated about it, and I was like, I don't know. So I just voice noted you, didn't I? And I was like, oh, I think you're great. Like, Freya was showing me loads of clips, and I was like, she's brilliant. And then the first time we physically met in person, London in the Sky.
Yes, it was.
Do you
I remember
remember?
that. I remember that.
And I was so nervous because I was like, she's messaged me before, but I don't know if she'll know me.
Yeah, I did. I remember
And
you
then-
coming over to me and you was like, Chloe.
Yeah.
And you was really tall. And I was like, wow, she's so tall. Hi, Eden.
There's no way you can feel worse than being 7'4" with draft excluders attached to your eyes and approach Chloe Brockett, who's 5 foot, gorgeous
No,
lips.
stop.
I was like, hello, remember me?
You wasn't. I remember I was like to all my friends, I was actually with my manager, it's her baby shower.
Yeah.
So we'd gone to like her event thing and then we went to London in the Sky after, and you come up to me, I was like, this is my friend Eden. I was really excited about
And there
meeting
was
you.
so many celebrities with Chloe, and I was like, hello. Yeah, I do eat with me's. And they're all looking at me like, so let's get to know you first.
Okay.
And then we'll get into, you know, what you all want to know. We'll get
Okay.
on to it. You're on death row.
All right.
Okay. Well, not actually.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, no.
we're in East London.
No.
Death row meal.
Okay.
Starter, main, and dessert.
Christ. All right. Okay.
Can I guess your starter?
Go on then.
Like juicy king prawns.
Yeah.
See, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, juicy king prawns and then like a lobster linguine for main.
Yes.
But maybe like a side of like mac and cheese, like
Yeah.
just something a bit random.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then dessert, I'd probably go for like an Eton mess.
I was just about to say
No,
that.
you wasn't.
I swear on Chai's life that I was just about to say
Yeah,
eat a
Eton
mess.
Yeah. That's what
It's
I'm
a
into.
difficult one, isn't it, with death row? Because you're like, do I want to die full, or do I just want to go out peacefully with like a little salad?
Nah.
Go for it.
Yeah, go for it. I'd probably watch Steel Magnolias as my last film as well. Have a sob, and then
Imagine you eating your movie, eating your linguine, and then they're like, Chloe, you're next.
Steel Magnolias is on. Love Dolly. Love Dolly Parton.
Okay. 2 icks, and you can't say something like oh, when they're not funny or
That's
something.
right.
like
I've got a
this.
specific ick.
I'm so excited.
So I really hate like the thought of like a man getting into a bath and then like they're standing there fully naked and
Yeah.
then the bath's too hot, so then they dip their toe in the bath and then they're like and they put their foot out the bath and then
Yeah.
they just stand there naked, adding cold water and swishing it to make
Naked
it to
with their
make
bum
it-
out.
Yeah, and then
No,
their
no, no.
balls are like drooping, like that's a massive ick for me.
That is the perfect answer, because sometimes you ask people and they're like, oh, like they're not funny.
Yeah.
That is exactly what I wanted. One for me is like going out with their mum shoe shopping, trying on
annoying,
shoes and having to walk in front of their mum.
Yeah, why?
That's just the most
Also,
embarrassing
you're not going to
thing.
walk any differently in any type of shoe, are you?
Or,
So
or being told off in front of me. Do you know what I mean? Or like getting like mugged off in front of me.
it's like boys with mummy issues really annoy me as well. You know, like, oh, I'm gonna, you know, when they have an argument, I'm gonna tell my mum why.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't really care what Denise has got to say. Do you know what I mean?
I was once with a guy, and his mum came in and smacked his ass, and she was like,
What?
She goes,
It's Lloyd.
she goes, yeah. Sorry, Lloyd, I'm exposing you here. No, I'm joking. She goes, if you weren't my son, that's inappropriate, isn't
What does
it?
that mean? What would you do?
Like
then?
she'd want to, if he wasn't her
Oh, I
son.
thought she was telling him off. She was trying it on with him.
No, she walked in. She was like you're looking nice. She goes, if you weren't my son,
Sorry.
I am not joking. Okay, so
much,
let's
innit?
talk about The Only Way Is Up. Woo! Woo! So it's come out this Sunday again.
Yes.
Everyone is very, very excited.
Yeah, it is good.
So before we like touch on everything like the drama that's going on, talk to me about TOWIE as a brand.
Okay.
Because it's gone on for years.
Yeah, I feel like TOWIE has gone on for... Oh, do you want to sit on my lap?
Sorry, Chai's here being annoying.
Come on, Chai. I feel like with TOWIE, it's gone on for so long now, and I feel like it's something that's like... I don't know, people always moan and they're like, oh, TOWIE, it's been going on for so long, why is it still going on and stuff like that. And I just feel like the people that say that, like, there's haters everywhere, but like when you watch the show and you realise, well, it's still going on because of this, like people still go to the places we go to, dress. Yeah,
I went to the Brentwood kitchen for Freya's birthday once.
Yes, I did. You told me.
TOWIE was filming and Freya was like, I want to go there for my birthday.
Oh.
So embarrassed.
And I think as well, like what makes it different to other shows on TV, like I feel like there's always like with new shows, there's always like the shock factor, or like let's see what we can get them to talk about, like sex, or what can they do that's like sort of grotesque in a way. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like with TOWIE, it's always stayed like quite traditional in that way, where we don't speak about stuff like that. Yeah. Like we'll hint to it and maybe be like, oh, like we hooked up or something like that, but it's always very like a bit tame in that way. Yeah. But where it comes with the most like, outrageous stuff, it's the drama, and I feel like that's like sort of faded out a little bit. Like back in the day when I watched reality, it was like The Hills and stuff like that.
Oh,
and,
love it.
Yeah, and I loved like Heidi and Spencer.
Yeah,
well, actually, I hated them. But like, I would watch it.
Did you fancy Justin Bobby?
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Carry
Fancy Justin Bobby.
Yeah.
Actually used to like stalking him on Instagram.
Have you ever messaged him?
Girl.
I mean, I sent a flame in 2017.
He replied.
Why did he remind you? Sorry. You got to show me off.
No, he's probably got a girlfriend or something now, so you know, years ago.
Oh my god, I'm so excited.
So I used to watch it and I used to hate Heidi and Spencer. Yeah. But watching it back now as someone who's on reality TV, they're just amazing reality stars.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? They do it
you.
right, and I think, you know, they're always very authentic to themselves, and I feel like sometimes people that are on reality, like there's this sort of like perception of like the perfect life and the perfect influencer, and you know, let's do a wake up and what I eat in a day, and I wake up.
No one eats granola every day.
I don't.
Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what I mean?
Mackie D's.
No one does it.
Shite.
Do you know what I mean? And when I wake up in the morning, I'm wearing pajamas, and I you know, I don't look perfect.
Hint of BO.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't look with a spot on my face. I don't look perfect. Whereas like, I feel like there's sort of this perception of being perfect, and with TOWIE I don't feel like they try and paint us as perfect at all. Actually, I feel like they paint us as human beings, and I feel like
TOWIE's very raw. Like it's a comfort series for a lot of people because they follow people's lives. They've seen them get pregnant, they've seen them have kids, they've seen them get married, like they know. And I don't know if you feel like this, but do you feel like your privacy's invaded a lot?
Not really, no. Like, because I feel like there's still things that I have that are private to me, like, and I don't have to speak about everything in my life, you know. But I feel like because I've been on there since I was 18, I feel like a lot of viewers are maybe more invested in my lives than some of the other cast members, because you know they might have met these cast members when they were 25, or you know, more into their lives. They met me when I was basically a kid. Do you know what I mean? And the way I've grown since then is a lot, you know. And I think that's why people are maybe slightly more invested in me and my choices.
Do you know what really fucks me off though is you get your age used against you a lot.
Yeah, but I think my age is an amazing thing.
It's really, it doesn't matter how old you are. Someone can be 35 or 70 and immature and all of this, but I feel like from what I've seen is people always say like, oh, well, you're only 21, like you don't understand.
Yeah, I feel like the people saying that probably wish they were 21.
Yeah,
like,
maybe.
so, you know, I don't really take that offensively in any way.
I was watching a clip yesterday and you're like, oh, I'm 45 and I'll still be exactly the same.
Oh yeah, literally, I'll be 70 and still be the same.
But I love it, and you just have such a... You are what people watch reality TV for.
Oh, thank you.
Would you watch a show where everything's fine all the time?
Well, I mean, you know, at the end of the day, I never say things for like dramatic effect. I say everything that's on my mind at the time. Like, you know, I'm not sitting there saying everything I say is right, because sometimes it's not.
Oh,
do you know what I mean?
Me too, yeah.
And I think that's what makes us a person. If
it
we
makes
just
people come back.
And also, if we just sat there and was like, you know, I don't really care, I don't have an opinion. Like, I have an opinion on everything and everybody, and I think everybody does though. Do you know what I mean? Like,
what's your opinion on me?
I love you. I think you're great. Like, I think think that you get like quite a hard time, but I think that's also because you're yourself as well. Like, and I think that, you know, in a world where like we're told to be filtered, it's really important to not be. I feel like a lot of the time, like even you can see, for example, on the show, people are constantly like to me, you know, Chloe, that's just not the way to behave. And it's like, well, who wrote that rule book? You know,
what is the way to behave? Just like being like just like vanilla.
No, and I mean, you know, I would say I'm more of a Rocky Road ice cream. Do you know what I mean?
And honestly, people will return to the show to see you.
Oh, thanks.
And when you come up on the screen, even when I watch Towie, when you come up on the screen, I'm like, oh my God, yes, like let's go. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, because I know you're going to bring something interesting, and you're also so stunning to look at.
Oh,
and
thanks,
I think that's
Eden.
like, I'm looking at her trying not to snog. I was saying that to you outside, wasn't I? Just your lips, just everything about you. So you're not only beautiful, but you also have a personality that's just like, yes.
Oh, thanks.
Do you know what I mean? Like, everyone can be a bitch.
Yeah,
Do you know what
I
mean?
think.
But you did say to me sometimes, I hope you don't mind me saying this, but you did say sometimes you will do certain things because you know it's going to do well in the show.
Yeah, I think like sometimes like it's like, you know, like, oh, I might just say that and see.
Might
how
just kiss
someone
Roman.
will react.
Let's talk about that. What happened there?
Oh, you know, that well, obviously what actually happened was what I said on the show. So
Yeah.
me and Elma had a bit of a bicker because basically we'd all been sort of put on separate flights out to Thailand, and
Oh my
I'm
God,
quite
I'd
scared
die.
of flying.
Me
So
too.
I was put on a flight direct from London to Bangkok. In business, it was lovely, it was beautiful, but it was a really long flight. So by the time I arrived, I was quite like annoyed. I didn't want to go because you know, I think a lot of people was like, oh, why doesn't Chloe want to go? You know, does she not want to go because she doesn't want to be around the group? And it's actually like partly so, but also I'm actually terrified of flying, and that didn't really get spoken about that much, which is fine. Like, it didn't really fit with what was going on in the show, but I was terrified of flying. So,
I want my scene of where I can speak about fear of flight.
yeah, 'cause can I just talk about how I don't like aviation, or like that's all I'm going to speak about?
Is that a section in the show? I hate aviation.
I hate
Do you know what it is? It's
aviation.
the ascending. And
Yeah.
why is everyone like, why are you eating? And why are you reading a book?
Yeah, why are you all so calm?
I
about
feel
this?
nauseous and my
Yeah.
head's caved in. So
Yeah.
why have you got your magazine
Yeah,
now?
every time I get on a plane, I'm like, oh, last time I was touching the ground.
And
Like,
do you know what it
I'm
is?
quite dramatic.
It's when
about
people
it.
go to the toilet and I think, oh my God, they've gone for a poo. I'm like, oh my God, they're going to come out, they're going to go again, they're going to be poorly. And I'm trapped on this horrible thing with them. Like,
He's ill.
yeah, people just get out their iPads, put a movie on, get their headphones on.
Yeah.
And then I'm there like,
No, but it was all right because we was in business. I was there like, oh,
yeah, what's that like?
oh, I loved it.
Did
I was
you?
with Saf. It was me and Saf.
Oh,
So
I love
obviously,
her, yeah.
me and Saf had like fallen out like
Yeah.
a couple of years ago. So our friendship got back on track like basically this year. We made up last year, but I feel like this year was what really made us closer.
That makes you good friends is when you fall out at the beginning.
Oh, and we're on a flight together for
Yeah.
14 hours.
Yeah.
So like, I'm like every bit of turbulence, I'm like, going down, aren't we? She's like, no, we're not going down. Like, so fucking have another champagne.
terrifying,
driving me
isn't it,
crazy. Like,
And again, the whole plane shaking. Everyone's
Yeah.
like, but then there's still that person just watching their movie.
whole
Someone eating
plane
some nuts.
Yeah, whole plane shaking, and they're like to me, would you like a cup of tea? I'm
Yeah.
like,
No, I want a fucking Xanax now.
I'm terrified. So we had
Honestly.
an argument. Roman helped me up to the room, and we ended up having a little kiss. It was, you know, it's all
Are
very...
you an impulse kisser? Do you
Not really, no. Like I haven't dated anyone in quite a long time, to be honest. Like people are always quite shocked at how single I am. But with me, like I feel like because I'm happy in my life, I don't find someone that I need to sort of be with. Like
That's the best place to be, is being so happy within yourself that like someone be an asset to you rather than your everything.
Yeah, and
whereas
that's
like
how I
there's
am.
some people, and I think not you, but I think on the show there's some people who rely, and their relationship is their personality trait. But yeah, being single and happy with yourself and your career and being successful, people are just an asset to you. If they come along, nice.
Yeah, and
If
I think
not,
as well,
then
like
sweet.
my age as well, it's quite hard. Like obviously I've been on the show for a long time, and like I'm happy with where I'm at in my career. A lot of people my age are still sort of trying to find their career, so
Yeah.
it's quite hard for me to find someone that's my age and like also like where I'm at in life. Do you know what I mean?
You're not
So-
going to be with someone your age.
No.
I'm psychic, I can tell.
I've dated older people before and stuff like that, but right now I'm just not really bothered.
No,
Like I don't
it's-
really care enough.
But do you feel like in society, like we're kind of like forced to
Yes.
be on dating shows, do this? Like,
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of pressure, like when it even comes from like friends. I feel like, you know, if you're in a relationship, it's very much like, oh,
Yeah.
you need a
You'll find
boyfriend.
someone.
It's like what if I don't want to find
Yeah.
someone? Do you know what I mean? Like, would that be the worst possibility? Like,
Yeah.
to me, the
They
worst
can't comprehend it, can
like,
they?
The worst possibility would be like something going wrong with my career, not
Yes.
me not finding a man. Do you
Let's
know what
touch
I mean?
on that, because you are a powerful businesswoman.
Oh, thanks.
But failure is success.
Yeah, it was really
So
hard.
speak about that.
Okay, so it was really hard with that. So obviously I had my brand, but you know, it was very much like my designs and the way I wanted it to go. But there was also multiple investors. You know, it was a very big company that we launched to start with, and there was just too many minds, basically, too many people, too many ideas, too many conflicting ideas, and it come to an end after our second drop. Our first drop was all my idea and all my designs, and after that it sold out, it done amazing. Second drop was not mine and it was shit. So I basically made the decision to walk away, and I'm happier for it. Don't get me wrong, there's times where I look at my brand and I think, oh, I miss that so much. I loved it and I put a lot of my time into it. But
what have you learned from it?
I feel like what I've learned is maybe don't invest into something that's not fully yours.
Yes.
And also to just take things slowly. Like when I first come onto the scene, I was very much like, oh, I want to do this show, that show, do this, do that. And I've done a lot of shows for someone of my age.
When you're having the confrontation, like, do you both have to sit there and get mic'd out? Like, and just like look away from each other?
You're just not near each other.
Really?
Yeah, like you just...
Love it.
Yeah, you're just not near each other. Often you don't know if you're walking into the scene with that person. Like,
stop.
Yeah, sometimes you don't know. Sometimes you'll get a rough idea, but you know, there's...
What's the biggest time where you're like, when like you're like, when you've sat down and someone's walked in and you're like, that is the last person I thought I was doing a scene with?
Jack. So my ex Jack actually turned up at Halloween. So I was doing a scene with Frankie and we was talking about like the fact that she dated another one of my exes.
Who?
And Frankie Sims, and she dated Jack.
Okay.
Yeah. So we I was talking to her and looked and Jack was there and I was like, what the fuck is he doing here? Like, he's not even from Essex. So where did you get him from?
But you'd say that as well. Like, most people would like be very like, oh my god, like, look who's here.
Yeah.
And you just be like, what the fuck is he doing?
Yeah, and
like,
then they was like to me, Chloe, like, Jack would actually like to talk to you. And I was like, all right. Walked outside and he's like, I love you. I'm like, what? Why are you here?
it's so weird. Like with Towie, like I remember, have you always watched Towie?
I went for a stage when it was first out and I watched it.
Sam and Joey.
Yeah, and then I sort of missed like the more recent series before I
me
joined.
too.
So I don't actually really know what was going on before I joined.
So I remember watching like Sam and Joey, and they went through like such a painful breakup and all of this. Like, do you feel like when being on screen, do you ever wish you're like, I wish I could just turn the camera off for a second and be able to like cry and talk about this? Or do you not notice it's there?
I feel like sometimes you don't notice that. Well, actually, all the time I don't notice they're there. Like even the cameras here, like literally feel like I'm just having a conversation with you. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I feel like it's just because like,
It's like natural to you.
I feel some people like they see them and like, oh no, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just don't really care if they're there or not. But I feel like sometimes it's important to keep a part of your life private.
Yes.
But I do feel like, I don't know, like, for example, Sam and Joey, their relationship started on Towie and finished on Towie, and I feel like if they just all of a sudden decided actually we want to deal with this privately, it would have made absolutely no sense to a viewer. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like, you know, if you're on Towie, then that's just what you do. Do you know what I mean?
So you've never been put in a situation that you've had to say to a producer, I'm not, because I spoke to someone from Made in Chelsea recently and they were saying like, before like people were aware of like mental health and it was such an awareness, early on in reality TV, they would put you through so much shit just to be able to get that shot. And there's so many times.
I feel like now, like the show is so cautious of our mental health,
which is
stuff.
amazing.
Like I feel like since I've been on it, they always have been. You got to think I've only been on it 4 years, so I don't really know what it was like back in the day.
That is
too
a long
much.
time, Chloe.
But in the 4 years I've been on it, they've been so supportive. Like there's a psych on call, there's a welfare woman. She flew all the way to Thailand and was with us, and she was like a friend of ours.
Did she get business class?
I think I don't know actually, but Dawn was lovely. She was amazing. Like
that's so good that like even reality shows are taking that step to like cater to people who struggle.
I think it's like, you know, it's like we're doing a job but they're very respectful of the fact that we're humans as well. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like I noticed like there was more of a trend to sort of be kind a little bit. Like I'm not saying like social media is the most lovely place, because it's not, but I've also noticed like it sort of turned a little bit. Like quite a lot of people was like, why are you saying that to this young girl? Why are you doing that? Do you know what I mean? And I noticed like there was a trend to be nicer, so I have noticed that people are nicer as well as,
and so are you.
Thank
I
you.
think you're growing and maturing, and you're just like, I see you sometimes and I'm like, is she gonna say it? And then you come out and you're quite like mature about things, and I'm like, there you go, like her age has fuck all to do with how she's growing as a person.
It just depends what mood I'm in that day.
Is there anything you've regretted saying or doing on TV or in general life that like has caused you trolling?
No.
Never.
No, I know that sounds like a really like I don't regret anything, but I really don't. I
That's
feel
good.
like there's been times where I regret things and I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, this is terrible.
Not so much regret, more like I just wish I kind of didn't say that.
No, because
Perfect.
I think everything happens for a reason. Like I feel like that's how I get through every day of my life. Like I'm a very impulsive person as well, so like I'm so impulsive. So I'll like make a decision and be like, yeah, all right. Like what's
That's
the
like
worst
us with
that's
the
gonna
bobs, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like one day I want a bob, one day I want 24 inch.
And now I'm suffering with it. Do you know what I mean? Because I've got a little bit of hair that
We're both
keeps
trying to hide our
poking
bobs,
out. Yeah,
and
it's
we're really
not-
struggling. Is my bob out?
No,
what's
not
happening?
at all.
Go on about the friendships this season.
Yeah, I feel like the friendships this series, it's a hard one. Like I feel like, you know, friendship groups argue. That's a thing. Like
In everyday life.
yeah, and I feel like, you know, more so watching like the previous ep that aired on Sunday, it's quite hard for me to watch, to be honest. It was a hard watch, and like close friends of mine like literally turned the show off. So I was quite angry.
Really?
Which was weird for me to watch because I just watch it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like my friend literally was like, I'm not fucking watching this anymore. I'm so annoyed. But I think like it's hard because like I don't know what these people are saying. They don't know what I'm saying. So I feel like they might have thought that I would have gone into things a little bit more aggressively. But really, I was just watching.
Just upset, weren't you?
I was just having a nice time in Thailand drinking pina coladas. And then when I watched what everyone else was saying about me, it was quite sad.
It is.
But
not for you, because you are so sure of yourself. You know who you are. Like these people that say these things thrive off of, this is my opinion, nothing to do with Chloe, thrive off of drama because they're a bit boring themselves. That's what I think.
oh, thanks,
not you.
Eden.
No, that's okay. But like, I just feel like friendship groups argue all the time, and that's why I don't really have too many mates, to be honest. Because when I was away from one of the friends and in a group, they'd bitch about that person. Then when you're with all that person, they bitch about them. Like, and it's just like,
I feel like our group, like on the show, it was never really a bitchy group. I just feel like maybe like, I don't know, we get asked to give opinions on things, and obviously they've got more of an opinion on me than I have of them. I don't know. Do you know what I mean?
Do you see you all making up and being fine?
I don't know. Obviously, we've got the end of the series to come. I wouldn't say we're as close as we used to be. That doesn't mean I don't.
Which is a shame, because sometimes they just like, it just ruins it a little bit. You're like,
Yeah.
she didn't say that.
Yeah, I think that it's a hard thing, but I think it's growth and it's life. And also, you know, my age gets brought up quite a lot. Are they still friends with people they was friends with when they was 22? Maybe not. I don't know.
Not. I read something about you, and I don't know if you're comfortable talking about this.
Okay.
PCOS.
Yes, yeah, I can talk about that.
Can we talk about that,
Yeah, of
please?
course.
Because I want this podcast to be like a laugh and everyone have fun, but I also want to touch on things that people may not be aware they have.
Yeah, of course.
So when did you realise that was...
It was weird. Like, I've sort of always known. Like, my mum's always sort of said to me, like, Chloe, you've definitely got polycystic ovaries. And I was always like, oh, okay. Do you know what I mean? Like, whatever. And I feel like when I come off the pill, which was last year, only because I ran out of the pill and I just couldn't be bothered getting a new one. I just thought, you know what? I've been on it since I was really young.
Yeah.
Why the fuck am I taking this? I've not got a boyfriend. I'm not having sex regularly.
It's
I
making me crazy.
don't really care. Do you know what I mean? And I noticed I'd put on weight while filming Celebs Go Dating.
From the pill?
I think so.
Yeah,
So
I did as well.
it was weird though, because I'd been on the pill for years and just noticed this weird weight gain. I come off it and it instantly dropped off me, and I just felt happier. So then my period
What
started.
pill were you on, sorry?
I can't actually remember.
Desogestrel.
No, I can't remember what one I was on. That's the thing.
That's exactly what happened to me. Carry on.
But it come off it. I was on it for years. I can't remember what one it was called. How much attention I paid to things, and come off it, and my periods got really bad. So I was like, periods are getting bad. My mum was like, listen, Chloe, I think you do have polycystic ovaries. Went for a scan. They told me there's no damage to my womb, which is obviously not endometriosis. But my ovaries are polycystic. But what annoyed me was the doctors recommended to go on the pill again, and I was a bit like, I don't really want to. Like, you know, obviously I think people say to me, oh, do you not worry about infertility and stuff like that? I don't particularly. I know so many people that have polycystic ovaries and have had kids, so it doesn't really bother me.
Yeah, me too.
But, you know, it's something that I have, and that's what I'm fine with it.
What symptoms did you have that made you think that's what I've got?
Just
the periods?
The really heavy bleeding, also like peach fuzz on my face.
Yeah.
So it's never like a beard, but it's like peach fuzz that I would just dermaplan off.
Yeah.
And also just like the moods and stuff like that. So yeah, they just said that I had it basically.
Worst ever fan experience in real IRL in real life. Have you ever met someone, like for me it's like I'll meet someone and they'll be like, oh hi, can I get a picture? Hi, can I now FaceTime my friend? Can I then FaceTime this person? And then if I say no to one thing that they've asked, rude in real life.
Oh, really?
Have you ever had someone say you're rude in real life? Because she is, but like, don't say it. She's not at all.
I've actually never had someone say I'm rude in real life. I've had two quite strange experiences. I remember once I was at filming. I was quite new onto TOWIE, and it was like an IG in the background, and she asked, like the IG, it's like an invited guest, so they're the people that are in the background basically.
Oh, like an extra.
Yeah, and she come over and she was like, "Can I have a picture with you, please?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course." She's like, "I don't really like you," and I was like, "Oh."
This is what I mean. They don't realise that you're real people. They watch it like a show.
Yeah, she told me she didn't like me, and I was a bit like, "Oh, okay then." And then she's like, "But I was dating Harry at the time." She's like, "But I really like Harry. Can I have a picture of Harry?" I was like, "Well, go and fucking find Harry then. Why are you having a picture with me?"
What pose did you do for the picture?
I just sort of smile.
Did she say it before or after?
Before. Yeah.
What? She just have to be like, I don't like you.
She's like, "I don't really like you," but I was like, "Oh, okay." And then there was another one time. It was weird. Me and the girls were out for dinner actually, and for some reason I was like to Elma, "Will you walk with me to my car? It's only over the road."
Yeah.
And I walked out, and there was just this girl leaving like a pub, and she was like, "There's that cunt," and I was like, "Oh Christ!" Like,
so in real life, would you argue like you would on
no,
TOWIE?
I was
Really?
mortified. I literally was like, and I was with Elma, and Elma was like, "Sorry, who are you talking to?" And she was like, "Yeah, was it's like shouting." It was very strange. I didn't know her. It was just a fan. Like, that is the two weirdest experiences I've
Chloe,
ever.
I can tell you she wasn't a fan.
Yeah, she didn't like me. So I've had a lot of really nice experiences, but those two.
So
are
tell me
very
about
bizarre.
like your nicest. Have you ever been like moved to tears? Because I have so many like that make
There
me
was
cry.
one, and it was like a girl from the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Oh,
I had
stop.
just started on TOWIE, and I just couldn't comprehend that this girl's wish was to meet me. So I went and met her. We went to Sheesh, and like,
Oh, stunning.
we went to Sheesh, and she'd like said that she liked a hairband I wore or something. So I give it to her, and like, yeah, it was amazing. I remember thinking like, of all the people you want to meet in the world, do you want to meet me? It was crazy.
You shouldn't think that because you're so wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
I don't like she's so
Yeah,
like,
but there's so many people you could meet, like Ant and Dec. Do you know what I mean? Like,
the last people I would want to meet is Ant and Dec on my dying bed. Could you imagine lying there dying, then Ant and Dec walk in?
No,
They're
but-
like, "You've won £1,000."
no. She was actually she'd got better, and her wish was to meet me. It's
Oh,
crazy. Yeah, it's
amazing.
amazing. I've had so many experiences where like people send me long messages, and like sometimes I just start sobbing. Like even the other day, I spoke on my story about basically you can't expect someone to like you if they don't like yourself. And a grown woman messaged me and was like, "I've never thought things this way. I'm going to tell my children that now." And I was just like, "Oh my god!" Like that's what shocks me.
Favourite person to film with?
Elma.
Is it? So how did you and Alma become friends? Because she was on Love Island,
Yeah,
wasn't she?
so we was friends already actually.
Yeah.
So we was friends. I think we met at like a house party, and I thought she was really sweet. And then we would message quite a lot. Like we went out during like the Euros and watched the Euros together, and we got
nice.
friendly. And then I invited her to my launch for my brand.
Yeah. I was meant to come to that.
You
Let's talk about that.
You wasn't to
I was
come.
on the train to London Bridge. This is in the height of my anxiety. And I got all the way to London Bridge. And it's when me and Lloyd were first talking, and he was out in London as well.
Yeah.
And I texted him and I was like, "I'm so anxious, I can't go." Because do you know what it was? I was dressed so cringy that I was like, I
Why?
can't walk in that room.
So
Because
right.
not only am I 7 foot in real life, I was wearing heels.
You would
And
have
I
looked
was like,
amazing.
No, Chloe, I couldn't. It was like at the top of Selfridges, and she wanted me to go in on my own. And I
I
got
would have come out and got you.
no, but you know everyone.
My mum was there. You'd been sat with my mum.
Oh my god, I remember going to London Bridge, and I texted Lloyd like, "I'm so anxious," thinking he'd be like, "Oh, I'll come and meet you." He was like, "Oh, just go home." I was like,
No.
all right. So got peppermint tea, and I got back on the train, and I felt so bad. I was
Oh,
like, she's never going to talk to me again. And
Oh, it
I'm
was so fine. I literally was like, "Oh, she's anxious. It's okay.
Yeah.
That is fine."
Can
And
I-
that was actually quite funny. I invited like a friend of my family to take your place, like really last minute. I
Yeah.
was like, "There's a spare table." She come up to me. She's like, "I'm not too keen on Eden's choices for the meal." She was eating your cheese
What
board.
did I order?
She
Oh,
was-
I'd
She
love
was
a
eating
cheese
a cheese
board.
board, and she was like, "I really should have. I wish she got an Eden mess." She couldn't change it.
I probably did that with so much anxiety trying to fucking choose that meal. But honestly, it was in the poshest place. And
Yeah,
I
it was amazing.
Was it really good?
It was beautiful.
Okay,
yeah.
good. Have an olive, right? What's your favourite ever? No, actually, I want to ask this first.
Okay.
Oh my god, there's stones in these.
Oh, not the stone in the olive.
No, it tastes really nice though. It's like
And it's got garlic.
it's not just garlic. It tastes like you know,
Basil.
tomato pasta.
It's because it's basil.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Stunning. With TOWIE,
Mm-hmm.
how do you find like How do brands approach you for like deals and like money away from TOWIE?
Like if it comes from TOWIE, then like, so for example, they were sponsored one year by Oral-B.
Yeah.
So I done like a thing for Oral-B, and
Okay, so it's all linked.
yeah. So that was 1 year. Whereas like this year we haven't. I think it's launched like a beauty brand. So I think they're doing like a giveaway and stuff like that. So we're not as involved.
Okay.
Whereas when it comes to like brand deals and stuff from my management, everything has to be okayed through TOWIE. So we're not allowed to do like OnlyFans and stuff like that.
No.
That's like a no. But I personally wouldn't want to do that myself anyway.
No, I wouldn't. But
it's my
like
personal preference.
each to their own.
Yeah, it's literally my
amazing,
personal preference. Like literally, these girls are getting so much money from doing it.
But do you ever think like, do you ever go on your camera roll and think, I could?
No.
Really? Do you think the opposite?
I actually think, oh, cry, pay for that.
God, take that out. Send it to the recently deleted.
Yeah.
No, sometimes I do go through my camera and I look at Lloyd and I'm like, should we?
It was so funny. There was a picture of I was getting my hair blow dried earlier, and I was trying to show the lady a picture of my dog.
Yeah.
But next to the picture of my dog, no, it wasn't a sexy picture.
Okay, good.
Actually, it was just me in the mirror with my boobs out. But basically, I sent it to Elma saying, "Do you think my boobs have sagged since I got them done?" But I'm like standing in tracksuit bottoms like that. Like, and the woman saw it and I was like, "Isn't it sexy?" Like, and also,
it.
that wasn't like a sexy photo that I've actually sent to anyone. I've actually sent it to Elma. Like, I thought, just really it's like that.
Show me.
Hair pinned back, tracksuit bottoms on, and just my awful. It's so bad.
And like warm nipples as well.
Yeah,
like,
no,
you know,
I
when
look
it's like
terrible.
hot in
I'm
the
like
room.
that in the mirror.
No,
Like,
you've got amazing boobs. I even said to
Thank
Chloe,
you.
like, Lloyd's going to be at this filming, so could you just cover up,
I'm
please?
covered up today. I'm fully covered.
No, I'm joking. She's honestly, those things are money makers. That's what we should talk about.
What?
The pressure for filler
Okay.
in women growing
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
Because when I'm about to drop an olive pip into the champagne because I'm not going to drink it anymore. It's now a margarita. When I first joined social media, I'd never had a thought about filler or anything or the way I look. People are so scrutinising about every tiny aspect of you. When you joined TOWIE or any point in your life, have you felt the pressure or have you done it all for yourself?
I feel like for me, it's easy for people to say like, oh, you know, it's the pressure of the show. Like, really, like I always wanted to get filler in my nose even before I was on TOWIE.
And that's so important to say because a lot of people...
Hello.
Go on.
Oh, that was a big jump.
You're going to get kisses now.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, yes. A lot of people say it's because you're forced to, but not a lot of people speak out and say, actually, I wanted it.
Oh my God, like literally, if I was working in an office, I still would have got my nose done. Do you know what I mean?
Did you get a rhinoplasty or job?
I had filler in it, so it's
I've had
filler.
that
A lot of
before.
people seem to think it's like a full-on nose job, but it's not. It's filler, just done really well.
Really?
Hello,
Sorry.
girl. Come sit with me. And
Wait,
then
let me
I've
just-
obviously had like filler in my face and stuff, but that was all made through my own decisions. I had my lips done before I went on TOWIE. Like I was younger at the time, so I suppose it'd be quite strange if I come on TOWIE with a full face of work. But I think as you get older, you decide what you want your face to look like, and I think if you feel like you want filler and it's done in a safe environment, then get it done.
One question before we get down and deep. What's your favourite ever brand deal you've ever had? Like the favourite company you've ever worked with?
I think
Aside from TOWIE as a
yeah,
brand.
yeah, of course. I think the one I was most excited about, I've had two, and it was my first basically big brand deal that I'd ever done. It wasn't even like really that much, but I was really excited about it. It was Papa John's ex Travel Republic, which was like a travel company. I think they're still about. And then also I used to do a lot of work with a brand called Femlux, which is like
Love Femlux.
So what was weird is actually like literally a year to the day before I'd done the collection with them, I'd actually worn a dress from Femlux before going on TOWIE on a night out, and I was like, it was just like, really weird how the universe worked. And I was on a billboard for them and on an advert.
That's my dream.
The advert was playing before TOWIE, and I was like, this is so
Really?
weird.
Just you?
It was me and Demi. We used to do like an ad. We'd done an advert together. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's really.
Do you get along with her?
We don't speak anymore. Obviously, like there was friction between like me and her sister and stuff, so understandably. But at the time, we was really good friends actually, and it was really weird, like how everything like went full circle. Do you know what I mean? Like I was wearing that dress literally in a club a year before, and then I'm on a billboard with the brand. It was just something that was really strange. It was really strange. Like, but I never knew what manifestation was until the lockdown.
Yeah.
But my mum was like, read The Secret, and she was like to me, Chloe, you should really read this. She was like, I feel like you actually manifest your life.
Yes.
But I do, and I think it's more like just believing that something's going to happen so much that
you just act like it is happening.
Yeah.
Like I had 70 subscribers on YouTube, and I was going out like, oh, I'm going to be recognised. I was like, fuck's sake. I was like, what should I wear? And I was looking at people, I was like...
Do you know me?
I was like, hi. Yeah, it's me. 70 subscribers. But I lived the life and I filmed as if like everything was... And now... it really is a thing. It's not like everyone thinks it's like, oh yeah, okay.
No, it's the thing. It's crazy.
Like FBI have locked down files about like the brain and manifestation.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like when I was younger, like I remember I used to like sit in my bedroom and like respond like to.
Did you argue with yourself?
No, I used to respond to interview questions. Like someone was asking me a question, so I'd be like, yeah, I've always been doing this. I must have looked like a fucking psycho.
Did you do it in an American accent?
No, I was English.
I'm American in mine.
Oh.
Yeah, I still do it now. And I'm like, so being Kylie Jenner's hairstylist it's hard. And next year I'll be friends with Kylie.
Will you?
Who would you want to be friends with out of all of them? I think Kim.
I
Great
would
banter.
cry if I met Kim.
Would you?
Yeah.
What would you say?
Nothing. I don't know if I'd be able to speak. I know it sounds really stupid. Everyone's like, Kim Kardashian, what a role model. She's ridiculously intelligent,
She's
and
a
also
lawyer.
she's also just like someone that's so like business minded. It's crazy, and I think like a lot of people are quite judgmental where her career stems from. But
yeah, I love Katie Price.
Yeah,
She's
so
one of
do
my
I.
favourite people in the world.
It was actually crazy. She DM'd me the other day, and I was like, "It's Katie."
Oh my gosh, she followed me on TikTok. Never responds, but the follow's nice. And I met her at Lakeside Winter Wonderland, and I embarrassed myself so much.
Did you? I've not
Chloe.
met her. No.
I thought she's so. It's really weird to say. She's so much prettier in real life.
Oh really?
And I met her, and I was like,
Yeah.
and
No,
like
I get
because
really
she follows
excited
me,
about
I
things.
just.
Denise Van Outen followed me, and obviously she narrates Towie, which I forget. So,
What?
So basically, before the start of every show, she reads a disclaimer. So it's like,
Is that her?
yeah, it's her. So
She DJs at Tully's Farm.
yeah, so she followed me, and I was like, it's Denise Van Outen. Like I get rid. Or who else did I literally fangirl out? Daisy May Cooper.
She follows me on Instagram too.
She followed me.
Do you watch This Country?
Yeah.
I
And
want to get her on as Kerry.
I nearly sobbed. I was like, oh my God, she followed me. And I messaged her and was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, I didn't realise she followed me. I think she'd followed me for a while and I didn't realise. And she responded and was like, listen, I love Towie. I've been following you and unfollowing you, trying to get you to notice that me. And I was like, sitting there, I was like, Mum, it's Daisy Ray Cooper. She was like, I think you're hilarious and I would love to see you do comedy. I was like, what? What the hell? I couldn't believe it. I literally couldn't believe it.
She ignored my DM. But that is fantastic.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
I
was
her.
over the moon.
I want to interview her as Kerry. One more thing I want to know, because I'm nosy. When you meet people, like, when there's like a scene where it's like you walk into each other in the street and it's like, oh, hi. Like, do you know you're seeing them? Or are you actually thrown into it?
Yeah, you're very much thrown into it. Like, we're kept very separate. We will not cross paths before a scene. And we say scene, and I feel that makes people think that it's scripted. That's the most commonly asked question I get is the show, hello, Chai, is the show, she's like, I love her.
Is it guided, not scripted?
No, it's not. So, also, can I just add as a side note, do you really
Please.
think the majority of the cast members are intelligent enough to remember a script? Like, really?
No, that's really true.
Like,
Yeah.
If I was going to read a script, I would be on Hollyoaks.
Do you get given a subject, though?
No, so how it happens is every day that we're filming, so not now, like we're very much allowed our own time, but we'll like call up a producer or they'll call us and be like, hi Chloe, how do you feel about this? Or, you know, I might call them and be like, listen, this has happened, I'm really upset about it, I'd like to speak about it. And it is never like, you never turn up and you're like, well, what am I talking about today? You know what you're talking about because you've guided it. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, that's why I enjoy Towie so much in comparison to other shows I've done, because like, for example, like when I done Dinner Date, that's like a format. It was like a celebrity dinner date, and it's done to a format. So obviously, I was allowed to talk about whatever I wanted, but it's like a very structured format of you knock on the door, you sit down, and it was that, and it was
like, can you repeat this?
Yeah, and also like it's a structure of a show that works very well, but they don't change it. Whereas Towie's structure is very much like, okay, we'll do what you like, or you know, like for example, at a house party on the first episode, me and Elma went to the toilet and they followed us with a camera, like not because we was just standing in the toilet having a conversation. And they followed us and was like, can we record this please? And I was like, sure. Like, and that was like a really
have you got a tampon?
Yeah. That was like a really authentic moment that they got, and I feel like that's what I like about the show. Like, it's never scripted, you know. Of course people go, oh well,
were you shocked when you joined and found that out?
No, I knew it was never going to be scripted. I never assumed it was scripted. I think I was shocked at the way things would go. So even on the way we're filming things now, they used to show us like clips. So they'd be like, oh, this is a clip of what so and so has just said about you, because they would have So what was I saying? I think people go, "Oh, isn't it a coincidence that you bumped into each other in the street?" And it's
Yeah,
like,
that's
well,
what I think.
Well, no, of course not. But like, we have to be in the same places, otherwise we're not going to be able to make a show.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's we're both placed there, but we're never told what to say or how to behave.
Yeah.
If I wanted to walk up to someone I'm not friends with and say, "Listen, I think we should be best friends," they'd never discourage that. They let us do whatever we want to do. It's our story and our narrative.
I love that. I don't know if you'll answer this, but please do.
Okay.
Most expensive thing you've ever bought yourself? Outright.
Okay. Well, obviously, like, I would say that I've got a good one.
Yeah. Good.
My most expensive gift I bought somebody was a watch. I bought my mum a watch, and it was like a Cartier watch. I bought it for her for Christmas. So it was the year that I was like, I'd done a few shows, and my mum's like a single parent, and she'd always worked really hard to get me everything she could get me. So I remember for my 16th, she got me a watch, and I knew she couldn't afford it, and I still wear it. And she like really went out of her way. So I got her a Cartier watch and wrote on it, "Everything you done for me, I'm going to do for you."
Oh,
I'm going to cry.
I'm going to cry.
And she like literally opened it and sobbed. Like,
That
sobbed.
is the best thing about being able to have money now, because we both know what it's like not being proper wealthy.
Yeah.
So now when you get money from these amazing opportunities, giving, all I want to do is give.
Yeah, I remember I
the
nearly
time.
give it to her 100 times.
Yeah.
I was like, "I got a really good present. Do you want to see it?" Like, I think like, I think it's just hard. Like, I didn't come from like a wealthy background or anything. It was very much just me and my mum, and she done what she could and made sure I had.
Do you know your dad?
I do know him. I just don't have contact with him.
Okay.
So she done everything she could. I had a stepdad growing up, and I still am very much in contact with my stepdad. He's like my dad to me. But from when I was 16, it was just me and my mum. So she done a lot for me, and I just think that my mum has been such a massive like person in my life that I want to emulate, because there's never been a time when my mum's been like, "Oh shit, what am I going to do now?" It's almost like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. She's had a million different jobs and has literally...
They never let you worry, do they?
She's been a taxi driver, she's been a florist, she's done everything. Do you know what I mean? For me.
Yeah.
And now when I sit there and I have a day off and I'm not working, it's almost like this thing in my mind thinking, well, I should be doing this and I should be going to work. And it's almost like the fear of getting complacent and lazy is something that's always placed in my mind.
Well, I think you're smashing it, Chloe.
Thank you, Eden.
And I've really, really enjoyed talking
So
to you.
fun.
And I hope you guys have enjoyed at home and you've been able to get an insight into the real Brockett. And not like, because it's easy to pass judgment on someone without knowing their death row meal.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
And I think
That's
as well,
vital.
like it's hard. Like we all do it. Like we all watch TV, and
Everyone passes judgment.
yeah, but like we watch TV and we assume how someone's going to be just from watching them. And often, you know, that's a characteristic of a person. But like I always like to say, like, people are very much onions and not apples. Like if you looked at me as an apple and you just saw my outside surface and you saw me sometimes being a bitch on camera or with a screechy voice, which I get when I'm upset, then you would see a very one-sided version of that person, similar to you. I feel like, you know, when you first come onto the scene, you was very much like PG Eden who done Eat With Me, and I think when people started to see you as differently, there was maybe a bit of backlash. But
because I peeled a layer back.
But because you're an onion, because there's so many different layers to people, and that's everybody. If you met someone who's one-sided, how boring would they be?
Chloe, this is so true.
Yeah, and I think of that all the time. Like, we're
an
literally
onion.
just showing another layer.
That's it. I'm an onion.
You are an onion.
All of you listening at home are onions.
Everyone's an onion.
Everyone's an onion.
I think of that about everyone. Everyone's got multiple layers, and everyone has them layers that makes them that person. Your childhood.
Some days I want to be really nice and really PG and really like eat with me, and then some days I just want to have a laugh and chat about like really outrageous stuff.
Yeah, but then that's fine because like that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
Sometimes I want to scream and until I'm blue in the face, and sometimes I want to swan around and tell everyone I love them.
Yeah.
It only lasts for a couple
love
hours.
you.
I love you.
Oh, right, guys. If you have enjoyed, make sure you do leave us a review. Write something as well in our little YouTube comments if you're listening on YouTube. If you have been listening in your car, I hope you have been having a safe journey. Belt on, going the speed limit. But no.
Why do you sound like someone that speaks
Magic
over a
105.
tannoy on a flight? I didn't have a safe
Please
journey.
mind the gap. No, honestly, guys, enjoy. Do I have to say anything else? I can't remember. If you are listening on Spotify, make sure you leave us a 5-star review. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Leave us a comment. Tell us your death row meal in the comments. I'll be asking every guest that, so we'll be really getting to know people. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, which I don't know who the fuck does, what do they have to do? Leave a review with a comment. Please. Love you guys. Hope you have a wonderful day.
Bye, guys. Woo!